Hello, everyone. This is Irene with SaugaTalks. Hopefully, everyone doing well in this wonderful April day. I am doing exceptionally fine. I speak weekly with fascinating people in tech, and these are influencers, experts, entrepreneurs, speakers, people who know more than I do about tech. And I'm delighted. I'm delighted to host here today Andy Fitze. Andy, welcome. How are you?
I'm totally fine, like you. Thanks.
Wonderful. Andy, you are SwissCognitive founder and you're top influencer, AI, and many other technical topics globally. You're a speaker and you have a fantastic background to discuss a topic today because we're gonna talk about how organizations should think about establishing AI Center of Excellence. Where do you think we are in 2021? My background telling me that center of excellence, it's not a new concept. I was part of you in my career. But what's important now, how we're looking at the concept of it and how AI technology needs this kind of organizational and functional help.
Thanks for the question, and thanks for having me here in this round. Center of excellence is really an old concept, but in using immersion technology, and especially here AI technology, cognitive technology, it's very important to use a common framework like Center of Excellence to have all the recipes in it. If we would like to be successful in implementing, using, and also substantially changing how we work together. So if we're using AI technology, it's so important to use, at least if it's new technology, at least frameworks that we are used to have it for a long time, and that's Center of Excellence. So we coming to more details, I'm quite sure, but this is the framework why I love to talk about this topic.
Wonderful. So where should we begin, you think? Because to me, technology is a great shiny toy, but to implement or to drive any change in organization, some approach, some methodology and framework has to be established. So what's the best practice where organizations should start thinking about?
Let's start with leadership. So leadership is, and we come to more topic and details about center of excellence. But having the right target, having the right mindset, having the right also vision to do some things, having also to will to overcome obstacle. That's all about leadership. And if we talk about leadership in emergent technology, means you need more knowledge than just around having some details what we can do with them, having some details how to program. No, that's not the point. You need the knowledge what has or can change the world with technology, and especially with AI. Have a look to deep learning, what we have done 2, 3, 4 years ago. That's changed dramatically the way how we handle data. And you should know as leader what this means to you, to your organization, to your industry. And from there on, you have to think about what's could a vision for you. And this is a kind of awareness that we bring from the Swiss cognitive side to leaders, that they coming aware about the change, the tectonic change they are facing in their industry. So leadership is really something essential to the begin. If we are not talking about leadership, everything else, all the structure behind is something that's always leak a bit, because you are not facing on, or you're not aligned with goals, with support from leaders. So the top-down approach at the first is very essential. You can do it also from bottom up, grassroots, and so on. But as you know, that's important too. But having a shortcut in terms of speed for your environment, for your organization, I'm totally sure you need leaders in place. They are understand the importance of the change. using data for your own purpose means that you're not digital driven, you're not data driven, probably. You even have to the view of cognitive driven technology and enterprises.
Beautiful. We mentioned goals. We mentioned leadership. What about vision? Because somebody has to paint this picture first, right? And get people involved, those who will be affected by these changes. How does that look? Yeah, in your experience.
It's easy to go and say, okay, our first goal is to cut costs out. So so cut costs in the HR at the end, or in the workforce. I think that's short thinking. We have to see that if you're using technology like AI, we have to use this for our own purpose. How can we help a lawyer? How can we help a doctor? How can we help a cleaning man? How can we help a leader? How can we help a nurse to operate a doctor, and so on and so on? This must be the first question. And unfortunately, too many of us are having in mind always how we can cut the cost out of our system. So, and this is, yes, that's a good reason to start, but not seeing the potential of growth, not seeing how we can combine capability of labors together with the possibility of technology is just short-term thinking. I think the real potential is if we are able to combine creativity of human with technology, this leads to new interdisciplinary solutions, and there is coming a total new perspective in it. How can we combine this? How can we combine new technology, new capability that we need with creativity from our workforce? And so this is absolutely essential if we talk about how can we use AI for our own and creating the right goals. If we are just creating only efficiency goals, cost cutting, lean sigma, and tidying the belts and so on, all this kind of cost cutting program and efficiency and effectiveness program, yes, that's good, but it doesn't look good on a long term. So we see this already in different corporates. If they combine knowledge, creativity from the workforce together, that brings also another spirit. It's very important. Why you introducing a technology to cut the people? Yeah, that's a bit hard. So you have a resistance in the organization to use technology, and at the end, if you're not using technology, you are not a winner.
Absolutely. You mentioned very important element here, motivation for those who are affected by change and those who are taking active part in the transformational initiative of any kind, right? So how do you win mind and heart of those, of of people on the ground, of management, of leadership, because there are lots of actually political issues going on when one initiative launches, right? So how do you win? How do you rather make organizations stronger, not putting more silos and more trouble? I've seen those times. So yeah, what have you seen there?
It's nothing new, yeah. How to motivate someone, and all the stories about how you motivate, and how can you motivate with technology. So there can be fancy technology and so on. I think you as a leader has to establish a vision that you can share and can bring the people behind this vision, and there's nothing new. I'm a sailor, a skipper on an ocean. And if I just technically spoken, if I say, yeah, let's put the crew together and do sailing, there's nothing inspiring. Well, but if I say, listen, we cross the ocean, would you like to join? And this is a totally other story. So then they would like to join, and then I say, listen, yeah, that's good. Okay, let's train together. We should be fit. We should be capable. We should have the right boat, and then it comes all the recipes for this dinner together. And that's our task as leader. Formulate out of this possibility. I mean, endless possibility with AI technology and other emergency technology, having a thin part out of it and create a vision for yourself, for your corporate, for your institute, for your organization, even for your team, to bring the people behind this idea. That's nothing new. We have to do this since we live, or since we are industrialized, organized in our bench workforce. So we have to formulate a, a, a purpose-driven organization, and there's absolutely nothing new. What's happened now is that there are many of leaders out there that think, okay, just to have AI is enough, and we're heading to them. AI is not the purpose, I'm telling you. AI is a tool, it's an infrastructure at the end, and we have to learn how to use for our new purpose. But this infrastructure, like electricity, oil, will change a lot. I give you an example. If you have A4 paper in front of you, you make a little dot in the middle. That's the data that we had since we are on the way with IT. So that's our AIP system. Even this AIP system, we don't use it really often, the data. They're just stored in the data co-location, and that's it. So how can we now use this data for our own purpose? But in the same time, the data around you with IoT explode. So the whole paper sheet A4 is full of data. So imagine, how can we use this? I'm not able, probably you too, not able to handle all this data. So we need technology to find the conclusion of this data, to find the structure, to find the value out of this data. And for this, we need technology, we need deep learning, algorithm, and so on and so on. And if you are not able to do it, someone else will do it. And that's absolutely the case. So we are not in the same situation like 10 or 5 years ago, where no one was able really in a industrial base to go through all this data. But now we are able. The question is, you are ready to do it in your organization, and that's a totally different story now. So we shift our possibility in last 3-4 years dramatically. So if you are willing to win, you have to invest in yourself, in your vision as leader, to the right purpose of driven in your organization.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Andy, for that. So, in terms of very practical advices, okay, because we declared the topic as establishing, as where organizations should start with this journey. We know it's a process, right? It's not a milestone that you reach once. It's a really iterative development. Sometimes say that, right? So can you please comment on the most important organizational thinking? Should you grow analytics group into AI? Should you get business, technology, IT groups together? What is it, this collaborative approach? Is it functional? Is it business? Is it technology? All of it. Yes, what's your point of view?
There's no single answer, but over the time of the last 4 years, as we established 4 years ago, SwissCognitive, and now we have hundreds or even thousands of examples how to do and not to do. So if we are going a bit in detail, what's the critical success factor is, first one is you need interdisciplinary teams. Interdisciplinary teams means out of your industry and so from your industry and out of your industry. So both, you need really both side. So it doesn't help if you're just having a known organization. So you need a whole ecosystem around of you. Be open, be a part of an ecosystem like SwissCognitive, worldwide, whatever. There are many out there, just to learn how others do. So having this acceleration possibility with your own organization, because everyone is learning. Every single one is learning. Some of them are just already on the 20 steps. Some of them are doing just the first one. Doesn't matter. We can learn from each other. So this is very important. Don't do it for yourself. Second is, you probably find yourself in the problem that you're not having the right talents. That's absolutely fine. Why should you hire talents at first if you don't know which talent you need? Do you need talents from cognitive process engineer or program data analyst or whatever? So it's hard to find the right spot. If you have something already in place, that use it. Otherwise, go in the ecosystem, ask startups, ask good partners to frame yourself and find out over time which source you source by yourself. So which talents you source by yourself and which one should we source or with partners. So that's the second part. And of course, the question is, where you stand with your homework. Have you done your homework before with data? Have you access to your data only for a proof of concept or really in operational thinking? So there is a lot of question about data access. Do you have access? How you feel about having data aggressively used for analytics? Is there any kind of common understanding in your organization? Very important point. You could start there, at least after the first proof of concept, you will see this question arise immediately. And depends a bit on your corporate. If you're in a regulated market, this must be asked immediately in the first phase. But most important is, use small speed boat project. So you have to learn quite hard, I know, first, which projects going well and how can you formulate these projects. And that's not easy. So you will fail, you will learn, and you will stand up and go again. And in this time, it's so important to have a visionary leadership team behind you to support you and give you also the backing that you absolutely needed. So lastly, is program structure. I wouldn't start with them, but after a half year, a year, I would really give structure like Center of Excellence have. So program structure yourself. You will find a structure like project structure on a program setting, how you combine projects, how you measure project, how you steer, how you finance. That's all in there. How you finance something like infrastructure if you need access to technology. So this is all in it there. And we will talk about technology later on. I'm sure this is something that comes over time, but this is more or less my first thought on this.
Fantastic, fantastic. Can you give us a couple of examples, okay? Because I know you're involved in many projects in your career, probably more than we can, yes, possibly list, but couple of, very successful implementations done right.
I'm an engineer, electronic measurement and control engineer, and I always fascinated what you can do with sensoric. And as you know, sensoric out there is quite expensive. And now, just use this cam in front of me. and you will have so many information. And this use cases around the world using just a video cam, a normal cam. It can be a photo cam or a video cam. This is amazing what you can do. You can measure flow on a traffic. You can measure the quality of the screw of a train track. Is every single screw still in place or not? So you can measure the movements of clients in a retail store. You can even see which product they grab and bring to the shop. So there is so many possibility just with one single piece normal cam. So and there is so many things to do. And if you combine, now it comes sound with cam, it's amazing how many setups with other sensors you can avoid the cost if you have sound in place or a microphone and a video cam. So for example, if you have a microphone in a room with lots of engines, waves, and lots of pipes, you can three-dimensionally find the spot that sounds different than the week before. And over time, if you have also the log, what's going on in this room, you can say, this engine, I have no clue is an engine or not. I have no clue what's going on there. But you can say, this is something severe. You have to have a maintenance guy there, a field manager, go ahead and make it happen. That's something's happened. So just with a microphone. And this is amazing. So many examples. The growth in the in the agriculture done by satellite photo, just photo, cam, and microphone is something extraordinary. It will change a lot, we know, as also combined later on with HR, yes, HR glasses. So there are so many possibility to do this, and this is really what we're looking for.
Beautiful. Yep. I'm familiar with sound intelligence technology
Yes.
that you mentioned, right? It's for maintenance, it's for monitoring. There are tons of use cases there, and it has to do with safety. It has to do with potential, right? Saving people's health and lives. This is amazing. I agree with you. I just hope cameras will not be reading everything about us 24/7 yet, okay? Because there are some privacy concerns. So where do you stand in terms of, how can we control a little bit what's exposed to, for analysis, what's still in our private,
Privacy is something we have to discuss how we see privacy also with this technology. Listen, going back to introducing radio, just a normal radio and TV to our society. We had weird discussion. I wasn't there, you two, but was really weird discussion about, okay, the spirit goes away and so on and so on. We couldn't imagine how telegram is faster than we can travel and so on. So we should learn from this history that yes, it's changed a lot. Yes, it changed a lot. And also the 10 years, just previous 10 years of our behavior with our thumb, with our fingers, what we do on the smartphone. We lost actually the keyboard. Huh? Did you realize? So we don't use a keyboard anymore.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we don't. We missed also our mouse. So just that's skipped away. And so that's going ahead, and we will find a way how we trust camera, how we trust algorithm. There will be auditing examples and so on in place, I'm pretty sure, and many corporates institute also on a multilateral level like UN is helping us here also to put the framework in place to really help us also to understand better what we do on the one hand, and also to guidance, also to have a kind of global policy in place also. And there must be, yeah, of course, yeah, there is no other way, as technology can use also for bad things. So the bad guys are already here, and there's no question about this. The bad guys will use this technology for their purpose, and we have to avoid this also, like we have done by the nuclear power topics, and so on and so on, cybersecurity issues, and so on. So we will face this. Yes, but as we have done, we have introduced the car to our society, but also the safety belt. So there was an issue to drive too fast. So now we have a safety belt. Now we have even another technology like the new cars, autonomous cars, where we don't need anymore the safety belts because they are driving so safe anymore. So there will be always a solution for things that we produce, for problems that we introduce by ourselves. I'm pretty sure.
I like your way of thinking, Andy, because I don't think people within this tech community, speaking a lot with outside population, and this is really billions and billions of people who do need to realize, okay, this is not a scary step that we're all taking. This is, like you said, we've been evolving last how many centuries, if not millennials, right? The excellent article I saw this week is about how people were scared about 100 years ago when Sears catalog, mail-in catalog, came to life in the United States. It was crisis. It was huge. Now people saying Amazon is taking up everything. This is interesting perspective. Thank you, Andy, for that. Just kind of looking at how we got here, and that gives us.
I would like to add here two things. Yes, it scares a lot. I'm with. So people are scared about why, because they're talking about Terminator and science fiction. If they're talking about AI, we are on an industrial base. We are totally not there. So yes, if we would have Terminator or super intelligence in place, sorry to tell you this, I'm also scared because we do not have the frameworks to handle this. Full stop. So this is very important. We're not talking about Terminators and science fiction. We talk about AI in today's frameworks, and there is industrial based possibility, and we should use this also for our own purpose, for the sustainable goals, and so on and so on. There is much to do. We do not have enough food for everyone on this earth. We do not have enough, so we have to fight against poverty, and so on and so on. So this is very important. On the other hand, we also see that we have to regulate this for the future, and this is so important to bring this also in a best way to our society. So it's not nothing about regulation. We need this, and I'm totally with you. We should use potential on one hand, but also see that we are responsible for our own doing in taking care about how we do this on a long term.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're getting closer to the end of this talk, which is enormously insightful and informative for me. I'm sure audiences will find it of value. So in closing, Andy, what about a couple of takeaways? In a way, we started with technology, with organizational thinking around it. Okay, so how, again, companies, organizations should approach the project in their hands, and what should we do as a human beings to kind of feel comfortable about these changes? Mm-hmm.
So AI is not a technology that you can say CTO, CIO take care about. Mm-hmm. It's about you to have a leadership responsibility and take care about what this means really to your organization. Don't put this or delegate this to any CTO or CIO. They are responsible to make it happen, to implement, probably. Yes, they are. But the vision and the mission, and to understand really what this means to your organization, it's up to you as a leader. So this is the most important part of what we can learn for this 30 minutes now, because everything else, there are so many experts around the table here, but the people that are really should care about is the leader, the manager, and the leader to change themselves, to learn, and to change the organization.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I should finish, reach out to Andy, right? Reach out to SwissCognitive. They are wealth of information because I'm following you everywhere. I mean, fantastic, set of publications, interviews, articles. So those resources are very helpful. Thank you.
Great pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.